The ginger one's just given me a call saying that he's painting the Jag, so I thought I'd just take a quick trip up and see how he's getting on. How exciting. Ah, you gonna do it like that, are you? Look at her. Oh, that's exciting, isn't it? What colour is it? Pink? Orange. Orange. Oh, I've never been in a paint shop before. Shall I stop standing on your hose? Camera goes all funny in here. I don't know whether it comes out like that. Oh, right. Go like that here. I literally nearly walked into the thing. Okay, so engine obviously on the floor. We're going to lose this slushy old thing. Very nice on the road, not ideal in a racing car. So we have S-Type 2.7 diesel gearbox, same bolt pattern. We're going to have to get a different prop made up. We're going to have to mess about with the selector and stuff. We've got some plans for that, which might be a bit tasty. So yeah, we're going to pull this gearbox off first. We've also got a very nice clutch and flywheel that we bought off of Swallows, which I'll show you in a minute. I almost don't want to bolt it in because it looks too pretty. So yeah, we're going to rinse this off of here and throw that onto there. Well, that's the auto and the manuals next to each other. We were told we may or may not have to make a prop shaft on some of the forums. Swallows, in fairness, told us that we probably didn't. But there you go, you don't. Manual gearbox and automatic gearbox are exactly the same length. So all we've really got to do now is we went to Swallows and picked up our lightweight flywheel and our tasty clutch. Oh, lovely. So we can throw that on. We've got a spigot bearing to go in there. We've got a release bearing again from an S-Type. Throw that on there. Lovely. Right, so before I mount the gearbox to the engine, I'm going to pull off the supercharger, pull off the charge coolers, and I'm going to renew all the wiring that's running under there. I'm going to replace the injectors also, purely because I don't want to lose a cylinder or anything silly for the sake of a set of injectors. So we're going to throw some brand new injectors in there, rebuild the loom, and also modify the fuel rails so they run some proper AN fittings either end, and we can run like a flow and return system rather than a system that the XKR would normally have run. So let's get all this apart and get those bits and pieces done. Okay, all the chargers out, both the inlet manifolds are off, and you can kind of see now the fuel rails and the fuel injectors. So what I'm going to try and do is chop the ends of these rails. That one hopefully I can find a fitting, but certainly this end we'll chop the rails, weld in some AN fittings, and then we can have some proper AN stainless braided pipe. Actually, should be better than some of this. This is probably alright for a road car, but I don't want to have any fuel failures. So we'll do as best as we can with that, and put some better, more modern and known injectors in there at the same time. So we'll have these out now. Progress bike's over in the corner tigging up the bits for the gated sump. I'm going to take the opportunity to remove the old drive plate for the old automatic gearbox. So we're going to buzz this off. And get the nice new pretty Swallows flywheel on there. So we're unsure about oil surge and how this is going to behave, this engine, so we've just made up this little windowed like collector pot. We're going to put these little flaps in there, so oil pickup pipe fits in there perfectly. Hopefully this keeps with oil and keeps us with oil pressure consistently. It's the minimum we can do really without going too silly. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, flywheel, sexy flywheel now on. Modified sump is now on. Next thing we're going to do is get the nice new sexy clutch out and get that bolted in. Nice new clutch installed onto nice new flywheel. It's very, very tasty. So next thing we've got to do is get the slave cylinder into the gearbox, which is just a normal S-type slave cylinder. Let's throw the box on. Allows in the gearbox. We've got this S-type slave cylinder, and Uncle Spike's going to slip on there. Very nice, Uncle Spike. Very professionally done. Oh, and it's home. And we got this piece as well, which is an aluminium piece from, again, the S-type, same piece. We bought this new from Jaguar, and it hurt. This will slide in onto there, onto the special fitting from the outside. M10x1 thread fitting there, so we can just bring a nice flexi hose to that, and it gives us the bleed nipple. So let's throw this in there, bolt that up, and literally throw the gearbox on that engine. Okay, so manual gearbox is on. One of the things that me and Uncle Spike have noticed is that this is all very familiar to some of the BMW ZF stuff. It's a ZF manual gearbox, and the S-type shifter we're not very happy with. It's a bit sort of, well, not perhaps as sharp as we might want. So we kind of thought if we like ordered up some BMW bits and just see if we can get the BMW shifter to fit. And so this is the chandelle that goes over the little knobby bit here, and this all just fits absolutely perfectly. So we've got a nice new machine BMW part that literally just absolutely perfectly fits here. So we'll get this fitted up, and then that gives us you know, some options with the BMW shifter. I think ultimately we'll end up designing something ourselves, make it nice and sharp, but yeah, this gets us out of trouble for a minute. It allows us to use a BMW system rather than the S-type stuff. Well, we just picked the old girl up. This is very shiny. Uncle Spike's there strapping it down there. Alright, Uncle Spike? It's all nice and shiny, all nice and white. I've just got to drop the doors off to him now because I hadn't finished the doors last time I was here. The ginger one, Mr. Boland, Jeremy, has done a good job of that. We're very pleased. So just get the doors out of the van, drop them into him, and then zap this back and throw that motor back in it. Oh, a day in the life. Well, so mechanically, engine connected to the gearbox. Gearbox is connected to the prop shaft, which is connected to the diff. So manual conversion essentially mechanically done, which is interesting. So with the exception of the gear selector, which we look at, as I said a minute ago, we're going to mess about with that in a minute. But essentially then, so the 6-speed automatic gearbox, you can just bolt in the manual gearbox. The prop we haven't had to modify, just bolts on. We've used the original mount from the original automatic gearbox, just bolts on. Everything's just bolted in. Bit weird, isn't it? Doddle. Don't look too easy, yeah, doddle. Right, let's throw some of this stuff back on together then. Okay, so the new fuel rails are in. Uncle's bike has welded in some AN fittings either side and blanked off the bits and pieces. We'll put like a loop over the top here from one to the other, and then in this side out the other. I'm just going through building, starting to build up some of the loom. We don't like untidy wiring, so we've got the new injectors in, new connectors. This part of the loom you can't get to when the inlet manifolds are on, so we're going to build like a little loom for the 8 injectors, and we'll probably hang like a DT connector under the throttle body and under the intake just there. Just try and keep it nice and tidy and sensible. Yes, we like tidy wiring, so yep, let's get on and do that. Okay, so made like a cheeky little injector loom up now. So we're going to install that, tie all the cables up nice there. That DT connector is hopefully going to mount under the throttle body, and that keep that all nice and tidy. So let's install that, and then we can put the intake manifolds on. Happy days. Okay, so that's that little loom fitted. I've got these double ender zip ties which sort of go round, and then you can sort of put it back on itself. They're all labelled, obviously, both sides done, so I'll make a little bracket to go under the throttle body to hold that DT connector nice and up out the way there. Yeah, all in all, not so bad. So I put the inlet manifolds on now. I've got a couple of new knock sensors to go in there, so I'm going to put new knock sensors in and run another little loom next to that other DT connector, maybe a 6-pin DT, something like that. Yeah, so we can put the inlet manifolds on now. Uncle Spike is skiving, because he's got COVID, so providing he survives, he might be in the next episode, I suppose. The skiving little shite. Well, yeah, that kind of concludes this episode, I guess. I've probably done more than enough rambling through it. So cam covers, we've got the breathers in now. We've got like the AN line joining the two fuel rails. I've obviously fitted the manifolds with the charge coolers and the intake and the supercharger and this crossover pipe. I have, as I said, fitted two new NOx sensors, some new wideband ones that will be compatible with the ECU we're going to run. We've got two, obviously. I have changed that sensor in there for a new one, like the coolant temperature sensor. We have got all the scaling for the original, but I kind of figure that I use an original Bosch fitting, a Bosch sensor, because I keep those anyway. The alternator is in. I can't remember where I did a bit about that, but it's like a 40 amp race alternator. That's in and installed and correct. So what we're going to do in the next episode, so we're going to need to get some windows in this, so that's next. So get some windows in. I've got a couple of idlers I've got to put in over there where the air conditioning pump was and the power steering pump. I'm going to have just some idlers, just some 6PK idlers over there. I'm going to make a couple of brackets up just to keep the belt. I tried to have a look at rerouting it in a simpler manner, but there seems to be no sensible reason, certainly not a quick one. So yeah, we're pretty much got to get some. The next episode, as I say, we'll get some glass in it. I'm kind of hoping we'll get the radiator in, get it all plumbed up, get the gear linkage in. We've sort of had some designs and some plans for that, so we're going to get the gear linkage in. We're going to use a like a quick shift from something else and modify it to fit, as I say, like a BMW. And then potentially, hopefully as well, we'll get the pedal box in the next episode. So once we've got those things done, it's basically a case of just connecting it all together and off we go. So it's something like 6 or 8 weeks and counting before the first race occurs. And so far we've got a rolling show with a motor in it. Right, please like and subscribe. I hope you're finding this interesting in some manner. I'm finding it draining because it's just always late nights and Sundays, but hey, winning. So yep, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks ever so much.